Bear with me 1 second. Bear with me 1 minute. Oh. Just gonna put it in a couple more chats, then we can get going. Let's quickly whack it in Discord, and we can get fully going. Three viewers in, big ups. Just gonna wait 1 more minute. Just gonna wait 1 more minute to get more people in, and then we're gonna get on top of it. We're gonna start talking about macro analysis. We've got Bernard here as well. He's gonna start talking about some macros with ETH and the ETH Bitcoin evaluation, looking at some alts. Yeah, so let me just put this in. Comment if you're in. And yeah, bear with. I'm just going to send a link out on Twitter. Then we're good to go. Right. So we're back again. Last time I did a stream was the other day, and I did a short from the all-time high based on the swing failure pattern, meaning we've taken the highs, and I decided I wanted it to take a short because people were longing so much at these highs, and doing so resulted in price coming down 15%. Now, it hasn't been invalidated yet, even though we came down, hit this daily level, which was marked out before, all on the stream, and we hit this daily level. We came down 15%, 10% even, hit the daily level, found support, and now we're coming up to break all-time highs. I took some profit, tiny bit of profit down here, but it's just stop loss is going to be at entry on that short, and yeah, we're going to look at maybe possibly coming back to break all-time highs. There are a couple of things I want to go through. I want to go through ETH, because some of the alts have been going crazy today. Solana, Render's up a mad amount, 54% in the last 2 days. So Render's up a lot, and there are a lot of other alts that are just going crazy at the moment. So yeah, there's a lot to go through. James, my friend, he's also in Hodler Hub. He is going to do some more macro-based analysis and a little bit more speculative, less technical. It's still technical, but it's more giving an overview and a proper reason, which a reasonable insight to everything. So that's probably good to look at, and it's less trading and more of a long-term holding your bags, or just so you can get a broader aspect of how we both look at the markets, rather than looking at it zoomed in on a daily time frame, like, wow, it's just gone up this much, it's gone up this much. You've got to zoom out and see what's happening over the long period, not just coming back into crypto now because we've gone up this much over the past year, and you're figuring out what cryptos you want to buy now. You've got to look at it. Oh, are we going to break all-time highs? We might not. If you bought right now and we dumped came back down to this weekly, for example, no one's going to be happy about that. But the probabilities are that could happen more than us going to 100k at this moment in time. So you just got to weigh it up. And yeah, so James, you on the call?
Yes, mate, what are we saying?
Do you want to go into what you're saying first, or do you want me to go through? I'll go through my quick analysis of ETH Bitcoin.
Yeah, you go through like the daily Ethereum Bitcoin, and I'll take over.
Yeah, so the way I look at alts is Ethereum Bitcoin going up. alts, that's where you want to be getting into. That's what you want to follow what ETH is doing. ETH's the daddy of alts, so you want to follow that. Like I said, we've had a nice bump over the last couple of days of ETH, Bitcoin, and that's put on some big rallies on some of these other mid caps, etc. I'm going to just, my standpoint's been the same over the last, for a long time, since 2021 we've been in this range. You can see the fixed value area from the start of this range. Put that back a little bit, and we've left it earlier on this year. This is on a higher time frame, so I'll go on a weekly. We've left it, coming back, retested it, got rejected from it. This was showing that Bitcoin is valued more than all the other alts. Got rejected from it, came up again, got rejected from it again, and now we are creating these higher lows, which James will get onto in a second. But what happened was, when we came, I had this plotted out because there was a monthly level around here. I think it was over here. So yeah, well, we the monthly level came as support, but if you really wanted to time the low and show how big the swing failure patterns are, like what's just happened on Bitcoin, we took this low and then price shot up and rejected it. But that all happened within a week. You can see that in Bitcoin. We've swing failure pattern now, so we could get a sign of a reversal. Invalidated once we take this high again. So we could swing failure this swing failure. We could swing failure this high as well again, come up above it again, trap everybody, and then come back down. So that's just something to be aware of. Yeah, so we will then, let me go back to ETH Bitcoin. So like I said, we've got the value area there, we've got the point of control there, value area high there, and the value area low here. The moment I'm going to start being acceptable, that to start aping, it's not never going to be acceptable to be aping into altcoins, but until we get past this high here, that's when I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe we've got an alt season coming. That's the only time for me personally, once we get acceptance into this range here. Obviously you can see the growth that some of these altcoins that I've been having now, and we haven't even got into this range yet. We've barely moved. We've been going down over the past year and a half, 2 years even, a year and a half. So you can see that even though we haven't gone up that much on ETH Bitcoin, the movements that are happening, imagine once we get re-entered into a bullish trend on the ETH Bitcoin pair, it'll go bananas. But like I said, it could still, on a lower time frame, you can still look at it and be like, okay, so we came up to this weekly, got rejected from it, failed auction on it. Now we come back down. We've got a new weekly here. So we've got a level just above it, which is where that value area high would be. Again, so you would have come up and hit it again if we get up that high, and we got a weekly there. So there are levels in between, but at the moment we're just still range bound in this weird range that we got going on the ETH Bitcoin pair. Yeah, look, so even on a lower time frame, you're still just dancing in the value areas. So like even here, if we I'd see that as bullish at this time. Come back, testing it, and then we just shat through it, came down, and now it's just looking kind of weak in my eyes, this range. But you never know, might blast above it and see what we've got. Yeah, so James, what I'm going to transfer over to you. What are you saying?
Yeah, well, I've just started sharing my screen. If you could move over to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out now. All right, bear with me one sec. Yawning, a bit tired.
Yeah, it's getting late, isn't it? 7:30.
One sec. I'm trying to Okay, bear with me one sec. Screen. No capture. I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Sorry, it's a bit hard to. This is really annoying me. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh god.
I can't even find. I can't even find it. Okay, bear with me. Sorry.
Let me just.
Nah, you can stay there. It's fine. It's my fault.
I was gonna stop screen sharing the share again.
No, it's not that. It's not that. Let me just. Okay, right. I'm just gonna share my whole screen. Oh god, it's all fucking. Right, bear with me, guys.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So this is what Streamlabs looks like, if anybody wanted a little guess. Oh man, this is bugging me out. Okay, wait, bear with me. All right, I've done it.
You can see it, yeah?
Yeah, go on, share your screen then.
I am. Yeah, can you see that, yeah?
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
Alright, nice. Alright, so obviously you were talking about the value area low, and I've got also this parallel channel which started when we first bottomed out in Bitcoin. Let me just overlay the Bitcoin chart. So you can see here, this orange line, that's the Bitcoin chart. And so obviously here, we topped out here in September 2022, just before we bottomed here. And obviously right now we're breaking out of this downtrend. Good confluence with what Rome was saying about value area low. But I think what's crucial to see a continuance in ETH moving up against Bitcoin, we need to see a weekly close of at least 0.06. So obviously we've got 4 more days until the weekly close, and right now I'm probably swinging towards the fact that we won't close above it, but obviously I'm not hedging my bets on that. I still have more Ethereum than Bitcoin. But I think what is best to do now is to look at similar positions we were in the past. So if I zoom out, can you see that all right? Obviously I'm on the big monitor.
Yeah.
Let me get rid of that.
Yo. Joshy, one sec. Carry on.
So let's split this into 2, right? So here on the left-hand side, this was the first bear market, essentially. Well, the last bear market, as in 2018 into 2019. And you can see from the very top to the very bottom of the bear market, Ethereum lost 90% of its value against Bitcoin. And comparing that to today, the very top to the bottom, we're only looking at 45%. So, I mean, this means 2 things. First of all, obviously, Ethereum's got a lot more respect. It's now seen, it's not really seen as an altcoin anymore. It's categorized in the same kind of way as Bitcoin nowadays.
It has to
Especially
lose. It
with
has
this-
to lose a lot more market cap for it to happen. So it is a lot bigger and a lot more. It has a lot more behind it.
You're right, but look, if we could see a 90% dump to the downside in the last bear market, there is a possibility that that this still can go lower, and this would align with what the sentiment is with Bitcoin dominance around this time in the cycle. But if let's just look at something else that I want to show. If I get rid of this Bitcoin chart, and now we're going to start talking about interest rates, which they have a big impact on what's going on in the crypto markets, especially because times when interest rates are high, that's when people are flocking to safer assets. And even though Bitcoin is, not really a safe asset, it's the safest one in the cryptoverse, of course. So you can see here, if you look here, so this is where interest rates are very high, where my cursor are. And then as soon as the Fed started to pivot, you can see that Ethereum, Bitcoin basically bottomed out. So in December, you can see the rate basically got cut to zero following the pandemic, and that's when Ethereum bottomed and obviously went on a rally. So that brings me to the point that if Ethereum in the last cycle bottomed when interest rates were low, that means that's because investors felt confident in getting into more risky assets because
they had the money to. They had the money to do that.
Exactly. So this is what's quite confusing right now, because interest rates are going up. There's quantitative tightening going on, but the prices, but Ethereum's still doing well, and so are so many altcoins, like meme coins. So there's so many different things going on right now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but what were you saying earlier about the 18.6 year cycle?
Well, yeah, that's something that we briefly touched on one live stream. But maybe you could get up some tweets from Jason while I just start talking about Bitcoin dominance and overlaying the charts on there.
Yeah, go on then.
But yeah, but as an overview, this is 18.6 year cycle, which just markets work in, and essentially right now we think that we're in the stage of the cycle where it's an everything bubble, where everything's just kind of pumping for no reason and there's no logic to it, and that's what we're seeing right now because interest rates are so high. Why are these risky assets basically going parabolic? Doesn't really make sense. But anyway, onto Bitcoin dominance.
Are you going to? Shall I show you then? Shall I show you? Sorry.
No, that's all good, G.
Carry on.
Onto Bitcoin dominance. So this is a big parallel channel we've been in essentially since the start of altcoins were made. Since they started to get big. And let me just overlay Bitcoin instead of the interest rates. What were we talking about earlier? Do you remember earlier?
Yeah, about what?
I was talking about how basically 60% dominance is what a lot of people are seeing as what Bitcoin should go to based on previous cycles. And obviously we aren't there yet. And
Bitcoin dominance, if you don't know what it is, Bitcoin dominance is basically how much Bitcoin is compared to the rest of the crypto market. So at the moment it's at, I can't read it on your screen, but it's at
55% roughly.
55%. 53% of the whole crypto market. So as this goes up, more money flows from all the smaller alts usually and Ethereum to Bitcoin, and it shows that Bitcoin is probably going to outpace any of the alts. So it's better to be in the alts, better to be in Bitcoin than any of these alts. When it goes down, it usually is when Bitcoin will lose strength to some of this, and Ethereum and smaller alts would be outperforming Bitcoin by a lot. Now, obviously, we've had a lot of movement recently in the altcoin market, not just Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin dominance is going up, so it's more just to see risk wise, is my money better with Bitcoin or is it better with some alts? So it's just an indicating factor. So
Are you still sharing my screen?
yeah, I was just quickly explaining what the Bitcoin dominance was, so people
exactly.
could actually
and look,
understand.
you can see it. You can see it in the chart. So if we just go to every peak.
By the way, the orange chart is the price of Bitcoin laid
sorry.
over it, so you can see the correlation.
Yeah, it's maybe not that clear there, but here we have the 2017 peak, the bull run. As you can see,
just get the pen out. Just get the pen out.
Yeah, my bad. The Bitcoin dominance, look, it went all the way up to 70%. So basically, it surges up as Bitcoin makes its high. Money flows from alts into Bitcoin, tops out. There it hit there. Let's go to the next one. Even the rally in 2019, which didn't make all-time highs, where's that now? Yeah, look, we still went to 63%. And we even moved up further after that to 73, because once that started to top out, people rushing into altcoins thinking that we're going into another bull market, they get scared and they flock back to Bitcoin, so it goes back up to 72%. Furthermore, we break all-time highs again, come back up to 70%. But what's interesting is in that last cycle, obviously, when we topped out, it was kind of a bit low, but still 60%. And obviously, we did have the second leg of the cycle, but people argue that this was the technical top. But anyway, but if we come on to now then, so obviously Bitcoin still could have further to move. And this Bitcoin dominance does indicate that, because we see such higher prices higher percentages on the Bitcoin dominance value. Right now we're only at 55%. So if we are to move up, Bitcoin dominance will move up. So I don't think that we are topped out on that right now, but let's see. We need to get past this middle of the parallel channel. This is really interesting, because this also links to altcoins directly, obviously, because we need to see basically a Bitcoin high first. So let's look.
Could you just take off the watch list, please? Just so I can...
Yeah, all good.
There's only 3 people. There's no one even in here, I don't think.
Oh, well, we might as well just go for it.
Yeah. So
this is the total 3, which is everything excluding Bitcoin and ETH, divided by Bitcoin. So this is in its Bitcoin pair. Back in 2019, we broke down in a very similar market structure, and we dropped down from 0.42 all the way to 0.24. And right now we're at 0.4. Could we have more room to move down? I think quite potentially, especially if Bitcoin dominance moves up. You know, we'll see a breakdown in this, and altcoins will get wrecked, and they'll bleed against their Bitcoin values, and they even still are. So look, if you go to Matic Bitcoin, obviously people are just aping into these coins thinking it's going to be the next 100x, but it's still making new lows against its. Let me just remove the Bitcoin price. It's still making new lows from what it did in the last bull market. So you've been better. You might as well have just held Bitcoin that whole time.
Yeah. What about, give me another example of this. Maybe, is AVAX doing the same, or is AVAX not? Any layer?
Let's have a look. It definitely hasn't made
Bitcoin
low. Yeah, sorry, my bad. It definitely hasn't made a low. Nah, because that's been outperformed. Yeah, you see the low was down there. It's still got.
That's a newer coin though, as well, isn't it? Yeah, but still. For the risk
I could see it coming back down there and then coming.
But for the risk factor, you were taking a lot more risk holding AVAX than you are Bitcoin. Arguably, there's not even. I'm not going to go into what AVAX is and why it's good and why it's bad. But at the end of the day, you hold Bitcoin. The aim of the game is to build as much Bitcoin as possible, isn't it? Well, in my eyes, it is.
Yeah, well, obviously, like it's not. You shouldn't base it off USD values.
No, you should be basing everything off Bitcoin. So, how you've got to manage your risk and see where that flows. You can't just have your whole pot. Oh yeah, I've got 10 grand. I'm just going to put it all in AVAX and then think, oh, it's still going to outperform Bitcoin, so I may as well hold it. The risk factor is too much.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to the USDT dominance now, which is another key factor. USDT dominance is basically when you sell crypto, people will sell crypto and they'll sell it into USDT, not into pounds, British pounds or dollars. They'll do that as well, but mainly to keep their money in the crypto sphere, they will sell it into USDT. So when USDT dominance goes down, that's when Bitcoin usually goes up because people are flowing money into crypto, turning it into other currencies. When it goes up, that's when people are selling their crypto and usually flocking straight back into USDT because it mimics the dollar. That's why. So yeah, let's see this analysis, because this is a very important analysis that I think that people need to understand.
Yeah, well, so I've overlaid the Bitcoin price once again, and look, you can just see straight away. You can see the tops basically align with the bottom of these trend lines. So we could pull this back even further and see it as well. But so let's just take it from the first time after it basically was formed. So this first top here, when we first broke the all-time high in 2021, let's get the little pen out. So this is where we first peaked in the 2021 bull run, and it got very close to the trend line. And then we went up on the second leg. This first top of the three peaks hit again, and then the very top of this first impulse hit again, and then again. And let's just keep on going. So obviously we came up, went back down to hit it for the final time, which was the 69k top in November. So that brings us on to right now, because we are approaching it again. And like, by approaching it, I mean like, look, let me just zoom in here. We got down to, I think we got down to like 3.98%, which was percentages off the trend line. Obviously it depends how you draw it, but it hasn't hit just yet. But this begs the question, is this a top we're seeing right now? I think we've both talked about the possibility of this just being like we saw over here. It could just be a local top. We then spend a few months going down sideways, shake a few people out of the markets who think that we've triple topped, and we could carry on. So look, we could see something like this. We come back down, come back up, and that would be represented here by a little bounce. Come back down. Maybe we'll get another peak there. You get the gist. I can't really edit this.
I think we've got a high chance of swing failure pattern this previous high that we just made.
Yeah, but
the reason I say, well, it's not the original swing failure pattern isn't invalidated yet, so I think that could happen again, and we could come down a lot based upon that. Only because, let me just go back to me now. Only because, who's anybody? You obviously have to look at the footprints charts when that's coming up, but the way I see it is, like, logically, there's way too many people in this market coming into this market now, and not everybody can make money. People have to lose money. Look at the green months. Yes, we got the green months going up here as well, but we had deep retracements. We haven't had deep retracements. This, from here to where we went down, is 14%. Yeah, we bounced straight back up. Very, very bullish. Very bullish if you ask me. But I don't know why. Some some will say I'm in denial. You could say that I'm in denial. However, it just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel that.
What are you saying, that you think that the top is in for like?
No, I'm not saying the top's fully in.
That's what I was kind of saying with like, do you think it's just a local top? We go sideways for 2 months, maybe interest rates start dropping, and then we start having another leg.
I feel like we're overheated. That's what I feel. I feel like
exactly.
I feel like we need a little something. We need a little something to come down, because we can't just carry on going up like this forever. And especially with everybody that's coming back into the market and stuff, like it's just not right. But fair enough. I mean, talk about the parallel channels. Hey, talk about the parallel channels.
Oh yeah.
Talk about the daily, retested the parallel channel, retested the parallel channel, resistance. I mean, I'm gonna have to take the title off you being the parallel channel merchant, but what we hyperextend to up here. Oh god. Remember, we can also swing failure pattern on a higher time frame as well, but obviously it works better on a lower time frame. So what, we swing failure to 79 instead of 80. Everybody gets overly bullish, come back down, and then come back down to 64, which isn't actually that bad if you actually take it in. Go up 20%, but at the same time, just come and chill for a bit. You know what? At the moment, the only thing I'm thinking of is swing failure pattern of this high that just did that high. We are looking bullish on a lower time frames, but the way I see it, not everybody can be in profit. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna do another video. I'm gonna try and do a video tomorrow. And yeah.